Ladies and gents, welcome back to the cockpit of the Fenix Airbus A320. Today we're going to be a bit of a tutorial video, and by all means, this isn't the real A320 sim pilot style of video. Like obviously he's the GOAT. He's the if you want to take this, learn this Fenix from A to B like really professionally and how you should be doing it, then he's the guy to watch. Very professional. He's a real Airbus A320 pilot, so it's in the name. But today I'm going to show, it's going to be a dummy's guide to the A320. So if you're familiar with the channel, you know we've been flying this aircraft now for this last month, pretty much every day. So we've learned quite a bit. And today I'm going to show you, if you're brand new to the Fenix, you're brand new to flight sim, and you've got the Fenix, you want to start learning. And this is, I mean, we're gonna miss some procedures. We're not gonna do like I'm not gonna show you the full procedures. I'm just gonna show you today how to set your aircraft up, how to take off, and then how to land wherever you're going to. So we are gonna miss quite a few steps. I'm just gonna give you the basic setup, take off, and land at your destination. So first things first, you're gonna need something for your flight plan. So if we go over to my display, I use SimBrief. Everybody pretty much uses SimBrief, and it'll look like this. It's going to plan your route for you. So let's go to new flight. We're currently at Jersey, so let's go easy 901, departing out of Jersey, EGJJ. So this is the ICAO, and we're going to go a short flight, and we're going to go to EGKK. So keep the alternative on auto. Let's go down to our aircraft. It's going to be the A320, and it's going to be the Fenix A320 CFM. Happy days. Now I'm going to click generate, and this is going to give us our route. And it will tell us down here. So it's telling us we're going to depart on runway 08. And every time you depart, there's a departure SID, a route, a plan you're going to follow, a route you're going to follow. So this is telling us we're going to be going on the Oris, which is going to be our departure. So it's over here. It's the same again as we come into runway 26 left at Gatwick. We're going to be going on the Absav arrival. So this is the start, Absav arrival, and this is our departure, the Oris. Okay, so runway 08, we're departing out of Jersey on the Oris SID, and we're going to the Absav star for runway 26 over at Gatwick. Right, so we've got this, we can keep that there. Back to the sim. So like I say, we're going to miss a load of checklists, a load of steps. This is a simple guide to the Fenix A320 and how to get you started. This is by no means the full tutorial, real A320 sim pilot style. This is a dummy's guide to the Fenix, to say the least. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go over to this, the flight bag. We're going to click the Fenix. We're going to tap this, and this will automatically get my flight plan from the SimBrief website we were just on into my aircraft. Okay, so EGJJ going to Gatwick. So what I do from here, I'll then go down to the MCDU, the computer of the plane. It's the FMGC, otherwise known as the MCDU or the FMC. So let's go to the FMGC tab. Now you're going to click Init, and you're going to click this one here, Init Request, and this will pull our route from that website into the aircraft. There we go. So now what we're going to do, you can put any flight number in here, any number, boom. Cost index we normally go with around 20, we do anyway. Don't worry about the bottom one. Clear that, anything down here just clear. And what we're going to do now, we're going to go to our flight plan. So this is departure, the departure airport, which we did in that SimBrief. So we know if we click this, click departure, we know we're departing on runway 08 because it got that on the sim brief. So we're departing 08, and if we remember, it was the Oris. Oris 1 Delta. This is our departure, so we go back. So if I go back to there, so you can see. So like I said, we were departing 08 on the Oris 1 Delta departure. Okay. So let's go back to the sim. So let's select that. This is our SID. Click this one to insert it. Right, so now we're going to scroll down to our arrival, EGKK, Gatwick. Click it. Click arrival. And same again, from that flight plan we did, we know we're going to be landing at 26 left. And the star was the ABSA. ABSA 1 Golf. It's the same again. Over here. ABSA 1 Golf matches up with our aircraft. ABSA 1 Golf. We click it. Insert. There's our route. We've got our route. Okay. So this sometimes doesn't take you the whole way to the runway. You will have to bring yourself on a heading and bring yourself down. But as we approach the airport, I'll show you what we mean. I'll keep it as layman's terms and as simple as I can. So from here, what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the flight bag. We're going to click mass and balance. We're going to go load aircraft, instant, and send to MCDU, which is sending it to the MCDU, otherwise known as the FMC, FMGC, whatever you want to call it, yes, MCDU. Okay, now we're going to go back to the main button, departure perf, flap config, we're going to put on 1+F, sync load sheet, sync live weather, or sync live, and you go calculate, send to the MCDU, so it's got our takeoff speeds. So if we go down to the MCDU, we go into perf, so we've got our V1 speed, VR, V2, we've got those speeds down here. Right, so like I say, we're going to be skipping a lot of steps. This is just to get you in the air and ready to rock and roll. So let me go back up. Let's go in a bit. Q and H. Shall I talk you through Q and H right now? Well, Q and H is the level of the runway, the airport here at Jersey. Obviously, different heights, different parts of the world the airport's going to be. But if we go over to the EFB again, click your little button, go to the Phoenix, go to My Flights, go to the Meta departure. Q and H for here is 1041. So let's go back to our EFIS, and it's 1041. So let's just scroll this up. 1041. Let's go do the first officer side as well, 1041. Okay, now looking at our route, it wants us to fly at a cruising altitude of 19,000 feet. So if we go back to display, scroll up from the little route here, it wants us to cruise, initial altitude is 19,000 feet, 190. Okay, so what we're going to do, in the main panel over here, we're going to put 6,000, and when we get to 6,000, there's a couple of little steps we're going to do. Then we can go up to our, this is going to be our transition altitude, so we'll keep it at 6,000. Okay, right, like I say, there's loads of little things to do to prep the aircraft, but the main reason for this video is just to get you familiar with some of the instruments and get you in the air. We can do a more in-depth video in the future, but like I say, if you want to know how to fly it by a real Airbus pilot, then the real sim A320 sim pilot is the channel for that. This is, a layman's terms, a simple video. Right, so we've got that set, but now we're going to need to set one set of flaps for the takeoff. Okay, we're going to need a pushback. If you haven't got GSX, you can use the tug, which is in here. So let's go ground services. Let's get rid of the chocks and the cones. Connect to tug. Okay. There we go. Start. Go backwards. It wants you to release your parking brakes. Just down here. Release the parking brakes. Ooh. Why won't it do it? Parking brake released. Right, we're pushing back. You can tell it left or right. Right, we're going the wrong way, mate. Stop it right there. Connect back up. Well, I mean, I use GSX and I very rarely use this. Let's do this again. And connect. Start. Back. Release parking brakes. And I want to go that way. Yeah, that's the way. Excuse my dog. We have the first officer, Henry, in the first officer seat. Well, I think that'll do us. So let's stop that. And it will take us all the way back. Okay, parking brakes back on. So obviously you know now the parking brakes down here. When I start my aircraft, when I start in the game, in the sim, sorry, it's not a game. If you go to panel state, right, actually I'll show you from again. Fenix, panel state. I have it on this one, turnaround of APU. Okay, so what this means is the batteries are on, so to speak, but I need to start the engine myself. So let's go back to this. Down here, the engine mode selector, we need to turn that to the right. So it's on ignition start. We need to look up. And we need to go bumps. Turn these on. Back to the main panel. And then we're going to go flick up engine 2. And you'll see by this display over here, this engine will turn on and you'll hear it click. When you don't turn them on at the same time, one at a time, let it click. Then we know we're good to start engine 1. This is engine 2. Once it clicks, we'll start engine 1. Okay, there it goes. Do the same for engine 1. I've just done it on my phone, not thinking you guys can't see that. So, flicked up engine 1. And for this one to start, like I say, we are missing loads of procedures. But if you want a more in-depth video, like full procedures over the checklist from start to finish, as simple as I can, then let me know and hit the like, and we will. But this is just to get you in the air, just get you familiar with the aircraft. Right, so engine 1 starting as well. Now this is our route that our plane's going to follow because of the FMC, because of this route we have in the MCDU. We're going to follow all these waypoints, the SIDS and stars. To zoom out on that, use this one here. Zoom in, obviously the other way around. Okay, both engines are started. Let's turn off parking brake. So, back up. Now let's give it a tiny little bit. It should be taxiing around 15 knots, 15, 20 knots, but you're not on a network or anything right now, so it doesn't really matter. So let's taxi to 08. Another thing you can do, let me just stop at that, show you before we get going. Another thing you can do in your little flight bag, you can go Navigraph. If you've got all this connected, you can zoom in, or you can go to Jersey, ground charts, start. If you're not sure, these are all your charts that you're going to use when you're taxiing it, especially if you go on VATSIM. These are very important. So up here is runway 26. This end is 08. So we're going to taxi from here up Bravo over to the altitude. But we'll come to that in a different video, like I say. Right now, let's get our taxi on the go. I'm not going to stick by the 15 knots for the sake of the video. Let me just speed up a touch. We have got flaps 1 set. Another thing you can do is pull this, click it, and go up. That's for your spoilers. Straight up to runway 08. Let's get on the runway. Now zoom in a touch.
Jersey Airport information, Quebec 2200 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility.
Right,
minor.
put your parking brake back on.
Clear. Temperature 15.
So down here.
Dew point 13.
Parking brake back on.
QNH 10.
Will you sod off? Right, so when I take off, it'll be indicated, this is my speed, it'll be indicated when to lift off. Okay? And I'll show you the rest as we take off. However, this throttle is different to other aircrafts. See the CL? That's climb. FLX, that's flex. And Toga is like your full throttle. You never fly with it on the full, because of obviously the sake of the engines. So you can take off on flex. Then once we're up at a positive climb, you can go back to climb. But what I like to do is I go full throttle to Toga. I get to around 200 knots in the air, then I bring it back to climb. Okay, so let's take off. You'll see what I mean. Flaps are set. Parking brake is on. So I go all the way up with the throttle. Wait for my engines to spool. Turn off your parking brake, which you've probably got a key set. Right, so now I'm looking for the takeoff speed in the speed on my display, straight in front of us. So there goes 80 knots, 100 knots. It's telling me to take off at around 120. So when I lift up, so I'm lifting back. Now you see the little green line, 10. I need to be at a rate between 10 and 20. So don't go too much. Gear up. I'm keeping that line between 10 and 20. Trying to get to around 200 knots. I'm putting my flaps away. Okay, now bring my full throttle back to climb, and I'm going to click autopilot. So my throttle is now back at climb. I was started there, but when I got to about 200 knots, I brought it back to climb. So we're now following the route. Okay. Gears up, flaps are away. We're on climb. It's just telling me that ATC trying to talk to me. Obviously we don't want that in-game ATC. Now click this, middle mouse button for me. Click that. Now I'm going to climb to 6,000 feet, but I won't go over 6,000 feet. zoom in a bit on the map, and you'll see we'll start turning on our own to the left. We're going to follow this route. There we go, start our turn. See you later, Jersey. Just past 5,000 feet. So on our flight plan, it told us we want to cruise at 19,000. So I'm just getting to our transition altitude of 6,000. So let me put this up to 19. And what we're going to do is we're going to middle mouse button, click it again, and we'll start climbing. As you can indicate by this little green line here. What we want to do now is middle mouse button, click on the ethos there. So it goes to STD for standard pressure. Same applies for the first officer side. Done. Right, so right now, you can kick back, relax. You should be golden for a bit anyway. So let's scroll out, see if I can see it on here. Let's go 4. It's hard to make out at the minute. But what we're going to be looking for, there's going to be a little white line on this display here on our route. There'll be a little white line like this blue one, but this is white, which means it's our top of descent. So when we get to that little white line, we're going to bring it back down. We're going to put this down to 3,000. We're going to click it in, and we're going to come down. But at the minute, as you can see, we've got a nice positive climb. We're going straight over 8,000. And we are on our way. So this is going to be Gatwick up here. So what I'll do, I'll leave the video running. I might speed it up. I'll probably speed it up. But as soon as we get to close to the top of descent, then I'll come back and I'll walk us through the arrival into Gatwick. But right now, while you're climbing, while you're awaiting the top of descent, kick back, relax, and I'll be right back. Right, chat, welcome back to the flight deck. Let me get my mouse on the go. So as you can see, let's zoom in using this again. There's the little white line that we were talking about, which identifies our top of climb. Oh, sorry, our top of descent. So what we're going to do, you scroll this back down to 3,000. 3,000 is generally your normal altitude you want to be at to capture something called the ILS, which will bring you in manually. I mean, depending on your chart, you can check your Navigraph charts, see what height to be at, but normally it's around 3,000, so let's scroll that down to 3,000. We're not going to click the middle mouse button on it yet to set it. We're going to stay at 19,000, but just as we're about to hit this top of descent, we're going to hit this. But right now, we're on our way. We're not quite there yet. We've got Isle of Man in front of us, next up being Gatwick. So I'll stop it here. I'll come right back as we just about hit it. Right, back in the flight deck. As you can see, we're pretty much nearly there. So what we're going to do, we've already got it set, the altitude to 3,000. Middle mouse button, click it. Now you can see here, we're starting going down. Little green line is indicating that we're going down. We zoom out on this. Right, our route, as you can see, takes us up here, up to this last waypoint, and then we're going to go on our own heading and bring us round to land. But as we get closer, I'll zoom more in and I'll guide you through it. When we get to 10,000 feet, that's when we're gonna do a couple more steps at 10,000 feet. So right now, we're just gonna come down. We're not gonna do anything until we get down to 10,000, and I'll come back and I'll talk us through what we're gonna do for the arrival. Right, folks, we're back. So, right, going down towards 10,000 feet now. When we're below 10,000 feet, I like to do this. So what we're going to do, we're going to go across to our flight bag, and now we need to change the QNH because obviously the elevation of the airport over in Jersey is going to be different to Gatwick. So let's go Phoenix, my flights, back to the Meta, click arrival, 1041. It might actually be the same, let me check. So let's right click the Ethis here, 1041 is fine. Right click the one over here, 1041. But now we're going to go back down to the NCDU. We're going to go Perth, next phase, 1041. Click that in there. Like I say, you can clear these. Back to the flight plan. That's all set. But as you can see, if we were to follow the FMC is to follow this, it stops. So it doesn't take us straight to the runway. Normally you'd have like an ATC, a controller vector in lining you up perfectly with the runway. But obviously we haven't right now. So can't load it, we can't zoom in just yet. You see this little two double lines here? That's the actual airport, that's the runway. This green line is going to be the guide for the localizer that's going to take us into that runway. So we're going to line ourselves up. We're going to go off. We're going to stop following the FMC's route now at Willow. We're going to go on our own heading, and to do that, we're going to move this one. So you can see here the little blue triangle. So wherever I put that, that's where the heading we're going to go on. So the heading of 075, middle mouse button, click. So we're now moving. We're still coming down towards, still at, just gone under 9,000 feet now. Obviously, the more we come down, the more we're going to speed up. One thing I did forget to tell you was put this back, but we can arm it again for the landing. Bandwidth too low. Bloody hell, I haven't seen that in years. Jeez. Get me Ethernet cable back out. Me graphics are going to go pants. Right, so we're following that heading. But that's put me off now. Right, so we can change our speed as well, but we don't want to change our speed just yet. It's going to take us ages to get there. Let me, I'm going to find my Ethernet cable. So while we're coming down and we're going on that heading, what we're trying to do is bring ourselves around and line ourselves up perfectly with this green line. This isn't the way you'd do it on VATSIM. Obviously, you'd get vectored in, or there's approach charts you'd follow. But for somebody brand new, this is how we're going to do it. Bear with me 1 second while I get my Ethernet cable. Right, all plugged in, ready to go. So, we're still coming down. We're trying to line ourselves up with this little green dotted line. The double line there is the runway. You can't see my mouse yet. We can zoom a bit in. So, we're trying to line ourselves up. We're going to take ourselves past, bring around. By here we need to be at 3,000 feet. And then we're going to line ourselves up. Happy days. So whereabouts are we now? Let's have a look. You don't have to use your middle mouse button once you've already used it. I can just turn this and it will turn us. Coming down nicely though, coming down nicely. You could always use your speed brake. Slow us down. If you're coming down really fast, you can use your speed brake. Another thing you could do if you weren't coming down in time, I mean, we don't have to, we could just keep going out and then bring ourselves around, but you could use this vertical speed, like if I go like that and mouse click that, come down even faster. But I won't start messing with that just yet. So we're nearly at 3,000 feet. Yeah, that's the runway there. The double lines. It's just going to be over on our left. But we need to need to line ourselves up with this dotted green line here. And here's our altitude that we're trying to get to, 3,000 feet. Lovely. Okay, right, we'll go on our own speed in a second as well, but let's get a little closer first, so it's going to take us ages. As you get closer as well, you press these underneath your, well, underneath this, you're going to press LS. Make sure you press it on the first officer side as well. Another thing, ready for landing. These are your brakes. This being the max, medium, and the low, but we're going to go medium. Let's arm them. Okay, so now it's just a case of lining ourselves up. We're at the correct altitude. We will be, once I start turning, I'm going to bring the speed really down. For the sake of the video, I don't want to slow it down just yet. Turn it more. The airport's just over there on our left. You can probably see it there in the distance. I know you practice flights, I suggest you probably fly to small airports. My favourite while I was learning was always Jersey, Liverpool to Jersey, especially when you're on VATSIM. You don't want to be flying into these big major airports. But yeah, just for the sake of learning, try and keep to quieter places. If you want to see more videos, if you want to see a more in-depth of the checklists, how to fly the Fenix, but a bit more detail, let me know about down below. Hit the like. If you want to see some VATSIM videos, how I started on VATSIM, tips for VATSIM, etc. Because we've probably done like 15 flights on there now. We're getting really comfortable with it. But this video is just a simple. I've got friends that have just got into flight simming, and I'm sure it will help them. Just to get you in the cockpit, get you flying, get familiar with the aircraft. Right, so this is what we need to line up. So we're going to need to bring it round. But we're going too fast. If we go down to the FMC, click perf. So next phase. It's telling us here we want to land at about 138 knots, so 140. And the minute we're going 230. So as I get a little closer, we will slow it down. Still lining it up, lining it up. Right, I'm going to slow it down now, so just scroll back on this. Let's take it down to 190. Click it in. Now slow us down, you'll see a little yellow. There we go. So we're slowing down now. Okay, let's go all the way down now, because we're getting very close. Let's go down to 140. Click it in. Right, so what we can do now, we can click. I'm going to put some spoilers out for a start, just to get us slowed down. So we get down real quick. Let me move this. Might have gone a little too fast there. Click the approach button, which is this one here. Coming down, let's put some flaps out. Full flaps. Put the gear out. So full flaps here. Put your gear out. Click this. Let's go a bit more to the left. I know we're localised and established now, so we don't need to do that. So we're looking good. So as you can see here, it says lock. So that means you're localised and established. So what we want to happen next is this GS is the glide slope. There we go. So we are fully ILS established. We don't have to do anything now. Let me put my spoilers away. There's the one way in front of us. We are fully ILS established. I do not have to do anything. It will land itself. So what we can do, we can have a look at the approach. So we literally don't have to do anything now, bar brake when we get touchdown. So let's have a nice little look at the landing. Actually, we can go into Gatwick. And I hope I've kept this video as simple as possible. I hope it helps. Don't really get much more layman terms and simple as I've tried to do it. But literally, as you can see here, I've got the GS is green, the lock is green. I do not have to do anything, so I can quite comfortably sit in the outside view. Don't have to worry about anything bar reverse thrusters, which is bringing your throttle all the way back when you touch down. And brake, obviously. So the two white and two red lights, they're called pappy lights. If there was more red, then I'm too low. More white, I'm too high. You want two white and two red. Looking good. Hand on the joystick now, going, what the hell is that? I think I'm knackered with my graphics. Okay, inside, and we are touchdown. Reverse thrusters and brake. So for the reverse thrusters, as you can see, my throttle is fully back into the yellow section there. My graphics are a bit messed up, as you saw the message I got about the bandwidth. You don't actually want to stop on the runway, but we're down. So click off your autopilot. Put your flaps and everything away. But that is a full video from start to finish. Simple guide to the Fenix. We've missed obviously loads of procedures and checklists and etc, etc, but this is purely to get you in the air. If you're brand new to it, get flying the Fenix. The more you fly it, the more you'll learn. But if you want to see a more in-depth video, if you want to see some VATSing videos, training, etc, hit the like, let me know down below. Until the next time, I'll see you on the next one, guys. But from me, and from the cockpit of the Fenix A320, adios. See you in the next one. Peace.